Welcome to Resume the Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Page, and I'm here to spread the message that you can, in fact, be happy in your career. I'm a former executive recruiter turned career coach, and I am obsessed with learning about why people have chosen their career, what led them to that decision, and how they achieved happiness in the process. So, come join the ongoing conversation that exposes you to career paths of all origins with one thing in common: happiness. So, press play and let's resume the conversation with this week's episode. Welcome to the first solo episode of Resume the Podcast in 2024. So in today's episode, we're going to take a deep dive into 3 buzzwords that likely inundated your New Year's resolution list and probably dominated your social media feeds throughout all of 2023. And believe it or not, they're here to stay in 2024. So which buzzwords are in the spotlight? We're unraveling the intricacies of 1, mindfulness, 2, mindset, and 3, purpose. More specifically, career purpose. So join me as we explore the dynamic interplay between mindfulness and mindset and uncovering how they collaboratively unveil the compass guiding your career purpose. So get comfortable and let's jump right in. Mindset and mindfulness, 2 terms often tossed around in the world of personal development and career success. So what do they really mean? How can they shape our professional journeys? And why is this whole mindfulness mindset debate even important? So here's why. Because they actually complement each other so beautifully when we have a working relationship with both. And when we do have that great relationship with both of these little components, really good stuff happens. So let's first explore mindset. Mindset is a powerful force that shapes our perceptions, shapes how we respond to things, and really our overall approach to life. It's basically your attitude. So your mindset is like the lens through which you kind of view the world, and it plays a crucial role in determining the trajectory of your career. So there are generally 2 types of mindsets: fixed and growth. So if you've looked this up, you've probably seen that. So to break it down a little bit, a fixed mindset might see challenges as this like insurmountable obstacle that they're facing, while a growth mindset views them as opportunities for learning and development. So the question is, how can we cultivate a growth mindset in the context of our careers? So here are 3 really cool ways to do that. So the first way is to embrace challenges. Instead of shying away from challenges, a growth mindset encourages us to see them as a stepping stone towards mastery and success. So if you feel that initial knee-jerk, like, I don't want to do that, seems too hard, do it. Just do it. It's the whole Nike slogan. It's such a good slogan. I'm never going to stop talking about this slogan. But if you really feel like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that, just give it a go. What is the worst thing that could happen? That's another great question to always ask yourself when you're feeling a little overly challenged or not quite sure if you want to take on a new role or a new project. Like, what is the worst that could happen? Number 2, learning from and leaning into feedback. So rather than viewing feedback as criticism, approach it as a valuable source of information that propels your growth. So it's very easy to get defensive when we get feedback, especially if it's not so great feedback. But take a moment and see the positive in the feedback if you can. I know it can be hard, but there should be something in all types of feedback, any feedback in any realm of your life. There's always kind of a nugget that you can pull from it that will help propel you. And if anything, just getting a little bit of feedback, just getting some even negative feedback can kind of ignite that fire in your belly. So try to look at feedback as a positive, even if it's a negative. Third is persistence. Cultivate a resilient spirit by embracing setbacks as part of the learning process and persisting in the face of adversity. So especially if you're trying out a new career, or if you are embarking on entrepreneurship, or anything really that is a new landscape that you haven't yet totally figured out, which is most of us, cultivating that resilient spirit by embracing those setbacks as part of the learning process is going to be so, so valuable, and persisting in that face of adversity. And the more you do it, the easier and more second nature it becomes. So jumping into mindfulness now. Mindfulness, on the other hand, as defined by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is a formative figure in the mindfulness movement, is, quote, the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. Let me say that again. The awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. So how can we infuse work with mindfulness and our career with mindfulness? So one of the best things you can do is start your day out right. We all heard it. We've all talked about this before in any kind of personal development podcast or on Instagram. Mindful morning routines. So if you don't have a morning routine, even if it's like just one thing that you do every morning that you weren't doing before, that's a great start. So beginning your workday with an intentional mindfulness ritual, even if it's just one, just dedicate those first few minutes to either deep conscious breathing or just a really brief meditation session. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 1 minute, but it will set a positive tone for the day, promoting a sense of calm and a more focused mindset as you start your day. So they're already working together. The second thing is mindful task transition. So incorporating mindfulness into transitions between tasks. So before moving from one project to another, pause, breathe, reset your focus, especially if that last project was just causing you a lot of issues, or you are specifically moving on from it because you just can't take that one anymore. Pause, take a breath, maybe do a lap around the building. Or if you're working from home, go outside, get the mail, just something to kind of break up the monotony or just the task, right? Just to break up, this was one task, this was another. You're compartmentalizing. All right. It also helps prevent with stress and overwhelm, which is huge. Third one, is mindful presence in meetings. So during meetings, practice being mindful and fully present. I know it's so hard because some meetings are really just unnecessary. And if you do notice that there's a meeting that's just completely unnecessary and it's just happening over and over again, bring it up with your manager. Chances are everyone else is, or at least some of the other attendees are thinking that as well. But if it is an important meeting that has to be had, engage in the conversation, listen actively and attentively to your colleagues, and respond thoughtfully. It will cultivate a more mindful and productive work environment, and you'll probably enjoy it more. The fourth one is mindful stress management. Obviously, this is a huge one. This one will hopefully never go away. It's so great. So when stress arises, embrace mindfulness as a stress management tool. Again, just what I said earlier, like take short breaks to engage in mindful breathing exercises or just a quick walk. Mindful stress management enables you to navigate challenges with clarity and resilience. And this helps prevent burnout. Burnout, we've all heard it. We've all read 1,000 articles on it, or at least seen the headlines about it. But it will help prevent burnout and promote overall well-being in your career. So let's move on to career purpose. Let's bring career purpose into the conversation. So career purpose is more than a job title. It's about aligning your skills, passions, and values to make a meaningful impact. How does mindset and mindfulness play a role in discovering and living out your career purpose? 1, purpose-driven mindset. Cultivate a mindset that views your work as a vehicle for contributing to something larger than yourself, a purpose-driven perspective. 2, mindful exploration. Use mindfulness as a way to explore your interests, explore your values and your passions, what actually matters to you. Make a list. You can always do the working backwards exercise. Some people call it the funeral exercise, which I've been hearing a lot about lately, but that could be kind of morbid for some people. But just think about like when you're old and looking back, what will you remember? How do you want to remember your life? What activities brought you a sense of fulfillment? And apply those to your everyday life now. Integrating purpose. Number 3, integrating purpose. So mindfully integrate your career choices with your purpose. So how does your current role contribute to your larger goals and aspirations? If you're having trouble with this last part, the purpose part, that could be a red flag that you're in the wrong career. Or it could be a red flag that you just need to kind of sidestep careers. You might be in the right industry and just in the wrong role. Or you might be in the right role in the wrong industry. So if you're having a lot of trouble figuring out like, okay, what is my career purpose? And like, what do I actually value? What are my skills? And am I using those skills in my current job? A lot of us have skills that aren't being utilized in our current jobs, right? We got into this job somehow and we kind of just worked our way up, stayed there. It was steady, blah, blah, blah. But we're not actually using the skills that we love to use. So anyway, it's a great exercise to use and to try to really disseminate what is important in your life versus what you think you should be doing. So thank you for joining me on this solo episode of Resume. We're going to be doing more solo episodes. So if there's any topic that you're really interested in, please let me know. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others on their own journey of mindset, mindfulness, and career purpose. So until next time, this is Courtney. Happy New Year. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I'm so grateful for your precious time and energy. And if anything resonated with you, please feel free to share with a friend and subscribe. If you're interested in career coaching, I would love to hear from you. Email me at courtney@resume-careers.com and follow me on Instagram at Courtney Austin Page. Thank you so much and see you next week.